But I'll start with just on Saudi. You do acknowledge, though, that the fact that you did not impose any specific sanctions on the Crown Prince on Friday or today has raised some concerns among people. You accept that, yes?
I've heard reactions since Friday.
Okay. So over the weekend, I guess yesterday specifically, your White House colleague said that the reason, or one of the reasons, is that you traditionally, historically, don't impose sanctions on the leadership of countries with which you have diplomatic relations. Is that also your take on this?
I stand by what my colleague said.
Okay, but the reason I ask is that's just simply not true. I can give you a number of examples. I've written down there: Nicaragua, Zimbabwe, Belarus, Myanmar. Even yesterday, the National Security Advisor threatened new sanctions on Myanmar's leadership. We can go to Sudan. All of these are countries with which the United States has diplomatic relations. We can look at Syria and Venezuela, places where the U.S. has suspended operations at its embassy, but has not severed diplomatic ties. All of those countries, the leaders have had sanctions imposed on them. So I don't understand how this is an argument.
Matt, what is also true is that there are countries around the world, and I need not name them, I'm sure they are familiar to you, with whom we have profound disagreements. These countries, in many cases, are competitors. In some cases, some of our staunchest competitors. In some cases, they are adversaries. And in most of those cases, we do not have sanctions on their leadership. I think what I would say to your question, and this gets back to what I was referring to at the top, we have talked about this in terms of our partnership with Saudi Arabia as a recalibration. It's not a rupture. Our goal in all of this, Matt, is to be able to shape those choices going forward. That's why we have talked about this, not as a rupture, but a recalibration, to ensure that we retain that influence in what we need for our own interests to be a partnership.
Okay. I get that, but it's not correct that the United States has historically not imposed sanctions on countries or the leaders of countries.
Matt, there are limited exceptions to that, but they are exceptional because precisely because they are 3, 4. Exceptions.
I just named 6 countries plus 2 that you've closed down the embassies
Matt,
on, and
there are other countries, and I need not name them. You know them, with whom we have adversarial relationships or competitive relationships.
North Korea. But you don't have diplomatic relations with them. So that argument, I'm trying to get you to say that you acknowledge that argument is
Matt,
is not correct.
I would rather not argue about a rather picayune point. I would rather talk about.
You might think that it's picayune, but I don't.